114 teams to go in my road to predict all 131 teams this college football offseason. And guys, we are on now to the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, a team that is slowly starting to push their way towards bowl season. Last year was another step in the right direction. So guys, can Rutgers finally push into a bowl game under Greg Schiano this year in 2022? Or is it going to take a couple more years for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights to be back in the postseason? What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome to my channel. And hey, I'm predicting all 131 teams this college football offseason, which means I'm predicting your favorite team. So hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you guys know when your favorite team is uploaded onto my channel. And as far as this video goes, this goes out to Rutgers fans in this video, but to anyone else who may watch another one of my videos, you guys are going to know your favorite team a lot better than me. So please, if you guys feel like I missed something, got something wrong, or you just want to add something onto the video, leave it in the comment section down below and be happy to read through them. Rutgers in 2022, they are my 11th ranked team in the Big Ten coming into this college football season. And this is the team that, well, now is going to start to have that expectation to get into bowl season, right? They've been so close over the past year. In fact, they even made it to bowl season last year. Whether or not it was deserved or not, you can debate that for yourself. But Texas A&M dropped out of Texas A&M dropped out of their bowl game after complications with COVID-19. So Rutgers slotted right in their place and played Wake Forest. Now they ended up getting beat pretty bad by Wake Forest. But hey, they made a bowl game nonetheless. So there you go. I guess Rutgers made a bowl game. Some stat lines from last year. Their offense, they got to start picking up the pace a little bit. 310 yards and around 20 points per game last year. On the defensive side of things, again, you'd like to see some improvement there as well. For around 391 yards per game, along with 25 points per game allowed. So you definitely want to see some improvement on both sides of the ball if you are a Rutgers Scarlet Knights fan. As for head coach Greg Schiano and his football team, let's see what they're leaving and what they have coming back or coming in. This team got a lot of pretty underrated players in the transfer portal that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But Cole Snyder is gone. He was one of the many options that Rutgers played at quarterback last year. Only had 130 yards and a touchdown last year. So definitely was not going to be one of the primary options coming into this year, as their starting quarterback is coming back in Noah Vedral, the former Nebraska prospect. Talk about him here in a little bit. But you do lose two huge threats on the offensive end. That's running back Isaiah Pacheco. You lose him. He was the lead rusher, 647 yards, 5 touchdowns. And you lose starting wide receiver, your best wide receiver, Bo Melton, 618 yards and 3 touchdowns on the year for him. So two very dynamic players for this Rutgers team are off this team. And we'll have to see how they're able to replace them. That's going to be an interesting topic of conversation for the Rutgers offense this year. How do they replace those two guys? Otherwise, you also lose tight end Giovanni Haskins. He is gone as well. And then guys on the defensive end, guys like Tyshawn Fogg, Drew Singleton, the linebacker position, two leading tacklers from last year that were really solid at the linebacker position. But they also lose their leading tackler, and Fadukasi, 81, again, I'm sorry if I butchered names. I apologize sincerely. 81 tackles last year for Fadukasi, along with 3.5 sacks. So they're definitely going to be missing his presence. And that's just part of their losses on the linebacking position. Also lose some defensive linemen and Trey Avery out of the secondary as well. But here's what they got coming back and got coming in. Of course, I already said it a little bit ago, but quarterback Noah Vedral is coming back. Should probably be that starter next year. Has 1,813 yards, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And this is the team that had over 100 more rushing attempts than passing attempts throughout their playbook last season. So just let the passing attempt, you just got to let the passing attempt be threatening. You just got to let the pass attack, you got to let the passing attack be threatening in order for the run game to work, and vice versa as well. So hopefully Noah Vedral can improve his play for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights this year. And he's going to need help from some weapons. Aaron Cruikshank is coming back. But they also got a couple new guys. Taj Harris and Sean Ryan are going to be coming over for this Rutgers team. Also, Johnny Langan, who was an old quarterback, has since moved to tight end, where he will probably spend the majority of the season next year. In terms of the run game, and again, I'm so sorry if I butcher this name, but Kyle Monangai had 235 yards and 4 touchdowns, and Aaron Young last year had 205 yards and 5 touchdowns. So 9 touchdowns between the two in very limited reps. That's promising for this Rutgers team. On the defensive side of things, a couple guys on the defensive line. At linebacking position, you return Anthony Johnson, which is huge. And also defensive backs, this is where you get your guys back. Avery Young, Christian Isian, and Keyshawn Abraham, who had 10 defended passes last year for this Rutgers team. So Rutgers, again, good talent coming back for Greg Schiano and company. We'll see what they can do with it. And let's look at the schedule to see what that talent has to persevere through. I apologize. Again, words are hard for me tonight. So, you got a couple non-interesting non-conference games, in my opinion. That's games against Wagner, the Skyhawks, and games against Temple. Don't really see them losing either of those games. And then the game against Boston College there as well. That's the non-conference game that really jumps out at you. They have Phil Jurkovic coming back, a former NFL talent that absolutely could push his way back there this year. Lots of good talent on this Boston College team as well. So we'll see what the Eagles are going to be able to do in 2022. That's going to be a very interesting game. Again, I'll do my ACC videos later in the offseason. But when you look at their conference schedule, I should say, you got home games against Iowa, Nebraska, Indiana, Michigan, and Penn State. Road games against Ohio State, Minnesota, Michigan State, and Maryland. So let's kind of preview these games a little bit. Again, the non-conference games that jumps out to everyone, it's obviously going to be that Boston College game. And I think that game's going to tell a lot about where those two teams are going to be at this season. If Boston College were to win the game, it could be a long season for Rutgers, or vice versa. If Rutgers were to win the game, it might be a very, very long season for the people that root for Boston College, people in the New England area. So it's definitely very, very interesting matchup. And I think it's honestly going to be one of the more underrated games to watch, because it's not two teams that, they're not two teams that are going to be in the top 25. They're not two teams that are going to push for a national title, but they're two teams that could be pretty solid next year. So I think that'll be an interesting one to watch. The rest of their non-conference not that interesting to me, but their conference schedule, yeah, it's interesting to me. But Rutgers is a team that I think is capable of pulling off an upset or two this college football season, primarily in their home games. You got a home game against Iowa, Nebraska, Michigan, and Penn State. Those are the games where you're probably not going to be favored at home, and yet they might be able to pull out an upset. Now, against teams like Michigan or Penn State, that's obviously going to be a little hard to do. Michigan made the playoff last year, and Penn State's looking to try to put themselves back on the map with a lot of talent coming back, a lot of talent coming in. And so both those games going to be hard games to win, and their road games are just ridiculously hard as well. I mean, you got road games against Michigan State, a road game against Ohio State as well. They figure to be one of the best two teams in the nation this year. So definitely interesting schedule here for Rutgers. Their bye week is going to be after that Nebraska game, so right in the middle of the season where you'd like to have it. I don't do game-by-game predictions. Instead, I do a more percentage-based outlook to help me predict the team's record. So if the game's in red, you're probably not going to win the game. If the game is in orange, you're still probably not going to win. Yeah, but hey, it's college football, and upsets can happen. Yellow-green are your 50-50 or upset potential games. Games in green, or is it games in yellow, I apologize, are your 50-50 upset potential games. Games in yellow-green are games that you should probably win, but watch out for the team on the other side of the ball. And games in green, yeah, you should probably win. So again, those two non-interesting non-conference games I have in the green variety. I think Rutgers should be able to get out wins there. And then when you look among the schedule, there's no red on the schedule, which is a little unusual for Rutgers fans. But hey, I mean, that I'm giving you at least a little bit of a shot in every game. Although if you were going to have a game in red, it would have to be that Ohio State game. But I just couldn't do it. I'm going to give Rutgers a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here, and they've been able, at least in 2020, they were able to push Ohio State to the brink. Last year, it was kind of a throttling again. But this Rutgers team, I don't know what it is, but I feel different about this Rutgers team. That's why I'm thinking they might be able to pull off an upset or two here. But in terms of the other games that you see in orange, they're the three games down there at the end of the season against the better teams in the Big Ten East. So that's Michigan, Michigan State, and Penn State down there. All games in orange and all games that I think are going to be really, really hard for Rutgers to win, and that includes the Ohio State game there as well. Those four teams probably going to end up finishing top four in the Big Ten East, and they may very well be the four best teams in the Big Ten. So definitely games that I don't see Rutgers winning. But again, it's college football. Who knows? An upset could happen. But if you want to get into games where an upset could happen, I would look for the game against Iowa. Iowa's been a defensive-laden team for a long time, and their quarterback play under Spencer Petras has just not been very good. If Rutgers can take advantage of that, if this defense can play a really good game and their offense can score enough against the Iowa defense, Rutgers might be able to pull off an upset there. They easily, I think, could beat Indiana. Maryland, that's going to be a fun game to watch at the end of the year. And then Nebraska. I think they can pull off an upset against Nebraska. Again, it's a weekday game. It's on a Friday, so it's a short preparation week for Nebraska. Plus, they have the travel day in there as well. So definitely a game to keep your eye on there as well. But all in all, guys, for this Rutgers team, I really, really want Rutgers to make a bowl game. And I think we all secretly do really want Rutgers to make a bowl game. I just do not think 2022 is going to be the year that Rutgers cracks that 500 mark. I think they still go 5-7 this year with those two guys that they lose on offense and Pacheco and Melton. Yeah, they have some good guys coming in to kind of back them up and replace them, but I'm not quite sold on Rutgers being a bowl team quite yet. And again, that Boston College game is a huge swing game. Now, I think Rutgers goes in there and beats Boston College for the record. I do think Rutgers starts out with that win. It is just their Big Ten slate, as usual, per the talent that's on this Rutgers team, is really, really difficult. However, I could see them making a bowl game this year, and I could see them doing as well as 7-5. But if it's going to be another huge dumpster fire year for Rutgers, then 3-9, I think, is that floor. So there you go. Those are my 2022 predictions for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think Rutgers is going to do in 2022. And remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I will see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.